A seam ripper is a tool used to remove stitches, open seams, cut threads, and open buttonholes. As unsewing is just as important for a quality finished project as putting in the stitches, a seam ripper is an invaluable tool for anyone who works with needle and thread. Objectives. At the end of this classroom, you will be able to identify seam rippers and their applications. Use a seam ripper. A seam ripper has a sharp sting with curved edge for cutting seams open and a round point for picking out threads. It can also be used for slashing machine-worked buttonholes. Bring the sharp sting of seam ripper under the thread and pull it up so that the sharp plate cuts the thread. Repeat this until the seam is open. Then, with the help of the round point of the seam ripper, pick up the thread pieces. When slashing a buttonhole open, penetrate the sting in the inner machine-made buttonhole and push it to the other end. You should be careful not to push the seam ripper further than the end of the stitched hole. Handle seam rippers with care, as they have sharp plates. Use seam ripper carefully to avoid accidental cutting of fabric or stinging yourself or others. If it is not in use, keep the lid of the seam ripper to protect it from catching rust. A seam ripper is used for cutting seams open, for picking out threads, and also for slashing machine buttonholes. Safety has to be observed while handling a seam ripper to prevent accidents. With that, we come to the end of this class. Before we leave, let's recall what you've learnt in this class. You have now learnt all about a seam ripper and its applications. Take our next class to learn about thread trimmer and its applications.